Assalamu alaikum students. I welcome you all to SM Public Academy Campus 5 online lessons. So how are you all doing today? I hope you're having a great time and you're having a lot of fun at home. So today we'll be having our English literature class for grade 5. So come on, hurry up and take out your books. You know which book we are referring to? Yes, the Wide Range Readers Green Book 5. So come on, hurry up and open your books. If you remember, the last time the lesson we were doing was the lucky nail. We discussed some of the parts of the lesson. So today we will continue the lesson from page number 9. So I want you all to hurry up and open your books to page number 9. We will be continuing with our same lesson today, okay? So come on children, hurry up, take out your books. Okay, so let's have a quick review of what we were reading last time. If you all remember, we were actually reading something about two twins. And what were the names of those twins, huh? They were James and Susan, right? So James and Susan were twins and they were 9 years old. They had lived with grandmother since birth. You remember their mother and father had passed away and they were living with their grandmother. She decided to send them to Aunt Jenny. Why did she decide to send them to Aunt Jenny? Because she was old and she had no money to provide them with education. All she could do was provide them with food and shelter. Okay? The kids were very upset and so was the grandmother. Why? Because it was the first time that they were going away. At that night, they heard wailing cry of a frightened horse. Okay? They went to help the poor horse. Remember there was a horse in the field and when they were going to bed, they heard these cries of a horse and they went into the field to help the horse. The horse's foot was trapped in a rabbit trap. A nail from horseshoe was missing. You remember that they both tried to fix the horseshoe and when James was actually trying to bang it back, then there was one nail missing from the shoe and so what did he do? He he will try to help the horse in some way or the other, right? So let's continue reading. So I'll be starting from here, the last line on page number 9. So hurry up students. Do you all have the book? Okay, let's start reading together. The horse stood almost still, as if he understood that the twins were trying to help him. So the horse was calm now. It was feeling good. It was feeling comfortable with the twins. There's one nail missing, said James. So which nail was missing? The nail that was in the shoe. He was trying to put back the horseshoe and there was one nail missing. He held the lantern over the trap, but the nail was not to be found. Now actually he's trying to find the nail everywhere, but he's trying to look for it in the light of the lantern, but he could not see it anywhere because it was the night time. I know, he said. He put his hand in his pocket and brought out a handful of assorted treasures. So what did he actually bring out from there? Assorted treasures. What is assorted? What is the meaning of the word assorted here? Assorted means of various kinds, okay, different kinds, okay. So he took out some different treasures. Treasures are some uh, important things that you keep for yourself, some valuable stuff, okay. Susan smiled to herself. She always teased James about the rubbish he kept in his pockets. So okay, now James, what James considered to be his treasures, to be his valuables, is actually what Susan thinks is all garbage, is all rubbish that he's putting in his pockets all the time. Wherever he used to find something good, he used to just pick it up and put it in his pocket. And Susan thinks that this is all garbage. He picked out one or two things and pushed the others about a bit. Then he found what he wanted. It was a nail. Not dull like the other nails, but shining like copper or brass or maybe gold. So basically, he found out what he was trying to see and he was trying to find out a nail and he finally found it. Pity, he murmured wistfully. Now what is the meaning of wistfully? Pity. Why did he pity it, huh? Why did he pity? What was he pitying? He felt sad about something, okay? And what did he feel sad about? Wistfully means to be sad on thinking something. Now he was like, he thought about something and he was actually sad. He said pity. It's my lucky nail, and I have had it for nearly an year. Then he lifted the horse's hoof again and banged the lucky nail into the last hole. What is a hoof? A hoof is the lower hard part of the animal's foot, okay? So what did he do? He finally took out his most favorite, his lucky nail, and he banged it into the horseshoe and he fixed the horse shoe finally, okay? He helped the horse this way. That will keep his shoe on till he meets his master anyway, he said. So he has fixed the horseshoe, but he's not sure about it, that whether it will remain intact or whether it will just fall out. But he believes that by the time the horse will meet its master, the horseshoe will be there by then. There is his master, whispered Susan, stepping away from the horse and moving nearer to her brother. So now out in the dark, she saw a stranger coming towards them, and she probably whispered to James that, okay, there is the master. This must be the owner of the horse. Out of the darkness came a man in a green coat and a three-cornered hat. The horse ran to him at once. So this is one thing for sure, that the horse belonged to that person, because the horse quickly went to him, okay? And what was the man looking like? He was wearing a green coat and a three-cornered hat, okay? What happened to you, Beauty? Now, Beauty is probably the name of the horse, okay? Asked the man. He patted the horse and looked across at the twins at the same time. Now he asked his horse, what's wrong with you? And at the same time, he is comforting the horse, and he's also looking at James and Susan. He caught his foot in a trap, began Susan. Now Susan is actually trying to tell the stranger that what happened with the horse. Then she was filled with sudden shyness, and she picked up the lantern and ran as fast as she could back to the cottage. So first she started to explain to the stranger that what was the situation, what had actually happened. But then all of a sudden she had this feeling that why is she actually talking to a stranger in the middle of the night? She and James had actually come out to help the poor horse, and now when the help was done, they should be running back. And so she quickly picked up her lantern and she quickly ran back to the cottage, okay? James would have liked to explain about the bleeding foot and the loose shoe and how he had mended it with his lucky nail. Now, James could have done all of this, that he could have explained the situation, and then he would have told that, okay, the horse's foot was trapped in the rabbit trap. But he had no wish to stand alone talking to a stranger in the middle of a field, in the middle of the night. So he too ran for home. So actually, both Susan and James, because they were like actually fearful of the stranger, because they were hardly 9 years old, and it was like very night. It was very dark over that at that time. So they did not speak to the stranger. They did not tell him the entire story, that what had happened, and they just quickly ran back to their cottage after helping the horse, because now they were also comfortable that the horse is with his master, okay? Next morning, when the twins awoke and the sunshine came streaming into their rooms, they remembered their adventure of the night before. It seemed like a dream to both of them. Now, actually, when they woke up in the morning and they saw each other and they thought about what had happened last night, they were pretty sure that it was more like a dream, because something like this was so strange that it never happens in reality usually. So they just thought that maybe it was a dream, but actually it was not. It was the truth. They had actually helped the horse in the middle of the night. It did happen, didn't it? Whispered Susan as soon as breakfast was over. So now they're talking to each other, and actually they are making sure that it did happen, right? I mean, this was true for sure. You also had to face the same situation. You were also there, right? So this is something we also do when we don't actually uh, make sure that, okay, fine, this was something that happened. We ask others that, yeah, this thing happened, right? So this is exactly what James and Susan are doing here. Yes, said James, it did, but it seems like a dream now, doesn't it? So now James also thinks that, yeah, I mean, yes, it did happen, but it looks more like a dream to me, okay? Okay, turn over the page. They had no time to talk about it or even think about it in the next 3 days, for there were lots of things to do before they went away. So now, because it was only 3 days time for them to leave for their Aunt Jenny's visit, so what? They're so busy in packing up and arranging the stuff that they did not even talk about it or think about what had happened that night. there were a few, very few belongings to pack. What are belongings? Belongings are things that you possess, things that are yours, okay? So basically there were very few things that they possessed, they had that were theirs, but they were actually some stuff they had to pack. But there were friends in the village to visit for the last time, and there were all sorts of things to say to grandma before they left. So for the last 3 days, what were they actually busy in? Rather than gathering their stuff, because they did not have a lot of stuff, they were busy meeting friends in the village and talking to grandma, because grandmother won't be going with them. So they were actually discussing all the things that were in their mind with their grandmother. If we can ever send you enough money to pay your fare on the stagecoach, you will come to Aunt Jenny's, won't you? Begged James. So James is asking grandmother that because she could not go with them as she did not have the money to pay for the stagecoach fare. So now James is asking her that if I pay you your money, or if I can buy you the ticket for the stagecoach, will you come to see us over there? Yes, yes, said grandmother. And live with us there forever and ever, added Susan. Yes, said grandmother. So actually grandmother wants to go with them, but because of the money shortage, she cannot go with them. But the children are actually looking forward that once they're able to make up this much money that they can pay the fare, they will ask grandmother to come over to Aunt Jenny's and live there with her. Because remember in the letter, Aunt Jenny told them that I cannot pay for your fares, but I would be very much happy if you all can come here and stay with me, and I'm very happy to keep all of you with me, but I don't have the money to pay for the fare. Okay. Then the day came and the children climbed into the coach outside the village inn. The driver waved his whip. What is a whip? A whip is a hard metal material that you hit the horse with to make it move fast. Okay. So they sat in the coach. The coach rocked and rumbled over the cobbles and it went on the King's Highway. So what does it mean, rumbled? What is the meaning of rumbled? Do you know what is the meaning of rumbled? Rumbled is to, rumbled means to continue with a steep sound. And what are cobbles? Cobbles are round stones on road surface. Okay, so what are cobbles? Cobbles are round stones on road surface. And rumble is to make a steep sound and move. Okay, and it went on the King's Highway. Susan and James stared through the window. Stared is look. Okay, look deeply through the window, waving to grandmother. Of course, it was very exciting to ride in a coach, but they felt sad, so sad at leaving grandmother all alone. So they were excited. Definitely it happens with us also that if we are going somewhere, if we are going on a trip, if we are going to visit some relatives out of town, there is this excitement that we all face that, okay, we'll be having new adventures, we'll be seeing new places, and we'll be having a fun time. But definitely if you're leaving somebody behind, especially a family member, then you do have a sad feeling with you that, oh, I'll be missing you, right? It was exactly the same with James and Susan. 6 other people were in the coach with the twins. Okay, so the twins were not going alone. How many people were there with them? There were 6 more people in the coach. Okay. 5 were ladies in long full skirts and little bobbing bonnets, and one was an old man with a snow white beard. So there were 5 ladies, and they were having their, they were wearing skirts and little bobbing bonnets. What are bonnets? Can you tell me what are bonnets? Bonnets are hats that are tied under the chin, worn in those in that period of time by the women usually. Okay, hats that are actually, they have strings and they tie them under the chin. Okay, so these are special kinds of hats that were worn at that time, bonnets. Okay, so let's move on. It was a long journey. Susan and James looked out of the window or talked and played guessing games with each other. Now, to pass their time, they are doing different experiments. They are talking, they are playing games, they are looking out of the window sometimes. But sometimes the jogging of the coach sent them to sleep. Now, it was a long way. So when the coach was moving with the horses, and definitely it was not moving very fast, it was moving slowly. So they also, after talking and playing games, they even slept during the journey. Then each time they awoke, they were surprised to find that the coach was still jogging on its way. Three of the ladies chattered all the while, but the others two didn't say a word. The old man nodded his head from time to time. So, actually, what is happening? This is the brief explanation of what is happening inside the coach. That these two children, they are enjoying by themselves. There are three ladies who are continuously chatting. What is chatting? What is chattered? What is chatter? Chatter is to talk very fast. They kept on talking, 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 and the old man nodded his head. Nodded is to move from one side to another side. Okay, he moved his head from one side to another side, and he said, "It's a long journey. It's a long journey." Now he's probably thinking because he's too old that it's a very, very, very long journey. Slowly the day passed by, and evening came. The sun sank behind the fields and flooded the sky with crimson. Shadows grew long. Bushes and trees looked misty and strange. The moon rose over a hill. So this is actually a scenery of the whole place. What is happening that the sun is gone, the evening has come, and how is the sun sinking? The sun sinking means the sun is actually setting. Okay, it's setting and the sky is flooded with crimson. What is crimson? A crimson is a very dark shade of red with a little bit of purple pinch in it, okay? It's a color actually. So this is the color of the sky usually when the sun is going away and the night is appearing, okay? So everything, the shadows were growing long and the moon was rising. It was the night time coming over, okay? "We'll soon be there back now," said one of the ladies who had been several times before. Okay, so she's one of the ladies who's actually gone to this route many times. And she says, "Okay, we are just about to reach. It's a good straight stretch of road for the last part." James heard her and was glad, but he was too tired to open his eyes or make any remark. So basically, James was happy inside. He was feeling the pleasure that, oh, okay, I'm about to reach where my destination. But again, he was so tired of the journey, the long, long journey, that he did not say a word. As for Susan, she was fast asleep and dreaming happily of grandmother and home. So Susan was sleeping. She was into her dream world. James was nearly asleep too. To him the voices became fainter and fainter and the coach darker and darker. Now, because it's still, although they were close to their destination, but they have not reached yet. So what is happening? James is also slightly, slowly, slowly he's falling asleep too. Then suddenly there was a shout, a jerk, a stop. What is a jerk? What is a jerk? Can you tell me what is a jerk? A jerk is a quick, sudden movement. Okay, a quick, sudden movement. So what happened all of a sudden? That James is all happy. Okay, I'm about to reach, and there was all of a sudden the coach stopped with a jerk. The coach swayed wildly, and everyone was thrown forward in their seats. The sleeping ones awoke, and everyone sat in alarm. What's happened? Okay, so now they all are scared because definitely the coach won't stop like this without a reason. There was something wrong. Some incident must have happened. Now what is happening? Let's see. The lady who knew the way clasped her hands in horror and cried. What is the meaning of clasp? Clasp is to hold together. So actually she held both of her hands together one into another and she cried, highwayman, we'll be robbed of everything we possess." Highwaymen. Now what are these highwaymen? Does anybody know? Highwaymen are actually robbers who used to rob people of their belongings in olden days. They used to come on a horse, they used to rob people and go away during the journeys. So this lady was actually, because she had been traveling this route, so she cried out that, okay, now we have robbers, we have thieves here, and we will be robbed off of our belongings. They will take away everything that we have that is valuable. And the others moaned and wailed after her like a chorus. Moaned? What is the meaning of moan? Moan means to make a low sound of pain, okay? A low sound of pain. And wailed means to weep. Weep means to cry, okay? So they all said in a crying and in a sad way, highwayman, highwayman. James felt a little thrill of fear and excitement, but Susan went pale and was very frightened indeed. So basically, James, because he's a boy, so he's having the thrill and the excitement that, oh, I'll be seeing robbers for real. But actually Susan, because she's a girl, she was scared. The door burst open and a voice said, "Kindly step outside a moment, ladies and gentlemen." So now who's this person talking? This is the highwayman. And what is he asking the people to do? To come out. The highwayman was dressed in green and wore a mask over his eyes. Certainly he was polite, but he held a loaded pistol in his hand and no one dared to disobey him. So basically what happened? That the highwayman, this is the, what does he look like? That the highwayman was wearing a green dress and he was wearing a mask over his eyes so that nobody could recognize him. But he was polite enough, and he had to be polite enough because he knew that nobody would disobey him because he had a loaded pistol. He had a gun in his hands. Why would anybody disobey him? Why would anybody say no to him? Okay. So today we'll finish it here. Okay. Right. And we'll be reading from this page 15, this last paragraph next time. So first of all, we'll have the words with the meanings. Although I told you the words during the lecture, but now you can have them and you can just go through them once again. Assorted. Assorted means consisted of various kinds. Wistfully, sad and thinking about something that is impossible or past. Hoof, the hard part on the bottom of the feet of animals. Rumbled, to make a continuous deep sound. Cobbles, small round stones used to cover road surfaces. Bonnets, a type of hat that covers the ears and is tied under the chin, worn especially in the past by women. Chatter, to talk fast. Crimson, a deep red, slightly purple color. Jerk, a quick, sharp, sudden movement. Clasped, to hold someone or something firmly in your hands. Anxious, eager. Moaned, a low sound of pain or grief. Wailed, wept. Highwayman, a thief who robs travelers on a road. So any questions regarding the words meanings, kindly let me know in the comments box on the Google Classroom and I'll answer you. Okay, so let's go to the questions and answers. How many people were traveling in the stagecoach? There were 6 people traveling in the stagecoach with the twins, okay? 5 were women and 1 was an old man. Why did the coach stop suddenly with a jerk? The coach stopped suddenly with a jerk because the highwaymen came to rob them. What did the highwayman wear? The highwayman wore a green coat with a mask over his eyes, okay? So these are very simple and short questions and answers, and I think you all can answer them without even looking. These are so simple. Okay, so let's make sentences. So I will be telling you the sentences because this is our first literature lecture, but from next time I'll be only giving you the words and you have to make the sentences by yourself. Just to give you an idea, make simple sentences, don't make long sentences, simple, easy, precise sentences that are sensible, okay? So let's go for the first one, jolly. Ali is a very jolly fellow. Jolly means happy. Protested. The laborer protested against the management. Protest is to speak for your rights. Sana is waiting for her friend anxiously. Anxiously is desperately, okay? The naughty boy teased my friend. Tease is to make fun of somebody, okay? Mended. The purse maker mended my purse. Mended means to repair. Impatient. We should not be impatient while standing in the queue. Impatient is to leave control over yourself, you know, to be like in a hurry. We should be very patient, okay? The horseman whips the horse to make him run fast. So whip is what I told you. This is a longer hunter kind of a thing which the horseman whips his horse with to make him run fast, okay? So these are the words. You have to make your own sentences. Please don't copy paste my sentences. Try and make your own sentences. Make simple, precise sentences like I have made, but try to make your own sentences, okay? So let's do the fill in the blanks together. Are you all ready? Can you answer the first one? Dash and Dash were going to live with Aunt Jenny. Who was going to live with Aunt Jenny? Me and you? No. Who was going to live with Aunt Jenny, huh? Yes, James and Susan. Exactly. They were going to live with Aunt Jenny. Number 2, the cottage of grandmother was away from the Village, exactly. The horsefoot was caught in a, I just told you it was caught in a rabbit trap. The twins were traveling in a, oh, this is a very simple one. They were traveling in a stagecoach. The highwayman was dressed in a, oh, we just read it. Come on. The highwayman was dressed in a green coat, exactly. And James felt a little thrill of dash and dash. I just told you, boys are always excited, exactly. So fear and excitement, okay? So are the fill in the blanks clear to all of you? Now, when you do your copy work, right now, I'm not giving you the copy work, but when you get it, make sure you write your index. And every time you do any work in your copy, please give the serial number, date, topic correctly, and fill it according to the assignment, whatever is given to you. Okay, please maintain the index very carefully. So hope you all understood the explanation given today. We'll continue with the same lesson next time because we still have the ending of it remaining, inshallah. In the next lecture, we'll be completing this chapter. So take good care of yourself and make sure you follow all the necessary precautions during this COVID-19 virus. And please remain protected. Please stay home, stay safe. We all miss you. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.